In August 2024, a single photograph broke the internet and ignited a global firestorm that hasn't stopped burning. This wasn't a celebrity scandal, this wasn't breaking political news. This was a face, a hyper-realistic, impossibly detailed reconstruction of Jesus Christ, generated by artificial intelligence from the legendary Shroud of Turin. Within hours, millions of people around the world were staring at an image so lifelike it looked like it could breathe. Deep, penetrating eyes that seemed to pierce through the screen, weathered skin marked by brutal torture. The unmistakable wounds from a crown of thorns rendered in photographic detail. Believers claimed they felt a divine presence radiating from their phones. Skeptics accused it of being the most elaborate digital manipulation in history. News outlets from the Daily Express to the New York Post plastered it across their front pages. And suddenly humanity was forced to confront a question we'd been avoiding for 2,000 years. Can a machine finally reveal what history tried to hide? For nearly 2 millennia, we've known Jesus' words, studied his actions, and measured his impact on civilization. But his actual face has remained history's greatest cold case, until artificial intelligence claimed it could solve it. What happened next shocked theologians, scientists, and millions of ordinary people who suddenly found themselves face to face with the most controversial image of the digital age. The mystery that started it all. Open the New Testament and read every word from Matthew to Revelation. You'll find excruciating detail about Jesus' life, his prayers, his teachings, his final agonizing moments on the cross. But here's what will shock you. Not a single word describes what he looked like. Zero mention of his height, eye color, hair texture, or whether he was considered handsome or plain. Nothing. This is bizarre because the Bible freely describes other major figures in vivid detail. King David was ruddy with beautiful eyes. Saul stood a head taller than everyone else in Israel. Moses was described as fair in the sight of God. So why is the most central figure in the entire book left as a complete physical blank? Historians believe the silence was intentional. Early Christian writers cared about his message and divinity, not his jawline. They feared the movement would become about worshiping a physical idol, rather than embracing spiritual truth. But this deliberate gap created a vacuum that would haunt humanity for centuries. Without any description, later generations turned to ancient prophecies for clues. They found Isaiah's description of a suffering servant who had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. This single line sparked a centuries-long debate. Some interpreted it to mean Jesus looked ordinary, perhaps even unattractive, a man weathered by poverty and brutal labor. Others argued that as God's perfect image, he must have been the most beautiful human ever created. None of these people had ever seen him, yet they fought passionately over a face that existed only in their theological imaginations. When art became truth. In the 3rd century Roman catacombs, the first attempts to depict Jesus would shock modern Christians. No beard, no flowing hair, just a clean-shaven young shepherd with short, curly hair and a simple tunic. Someone who'd blend into any ancient crowd. There was no standard look yet. Artists simply imagined him as a kind protector who resembled their neighbors. Everything changed when Christianity became the Roman Empire's official religion. Jesus couldn't look like a humble shepherd anymore. He needed to look like a ruler. The Pantocrator image emerged. Full beard, long hair parted down the middle, stern, royal expression. This look was borrowed directly from statues of Zeus and Roman emperors. It was engineered to command respect and awe, and it became the standard face of Christ for 1,500 years. Then came the Renaissance. Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo transformed him further, giving him lighter skin, blue or hazel eyes, and features matching European beauty ideals. This westernized Jesus became the version most of the world recognizes today in movies, paintings, and churches. But by the 20th century, scientists began pointing out a critical problem. This beautiful pale figure didn't match the historical reality of first-century Judea. The face humanity had been praying to for 1,000 years might be a complete invention, the forensic breakthrough. In the early 2000s, British medical artist Richard Neve attempted something unprecedented. He used the same forensic methods police employ to identify unknown victims, but his target was Jesus Christ himself. Working with Israeli archaeologists, Neve obtained 3 well-preserved skulls from first-century Judea. Not Jesus' skulls, but perfectly representative of Semitic people from that region and era. Using computerized tomography and advanced forensic software, he reconstructed the face of an average Jewish man from Jesus' time and place. The result shattered expectations. Instead of the tall, thin, pale figure from European art, the forensic model revealed a man roughly 5 feet 1 inch tall, with a broad, rugged face, olive brown skin, and short, dark, curly hair. His body would have been lean and muscular from years of tekton work, a Greek term meaning builder or stonemason. This was a man who worked with his hands under the scorching Mediterranean sun. His face would have been sunburned, his hands calloused, looking like any working-class villager from Galilee. When this forensic Jesus appeared on television, controversy erupted. Some felt it was disrespectful, others called it the most honest version ever created. But even this reconstruction was just an average. It didn't reveal his specific face. For that, researchers needed the only physical evidence claiming direct contact with him, the Shroud of Turin. The Shroud's explosive new evidence. The Shroud of Turin is the ultimate historical enigma, a 14-foot linen cloth imprinted with the ghostly image of a crucified man. For decades, it was dismissed as a medieval fake. After 1988 carbon dating linked it to the 1300s. But in 2024, everything changed. Italian scientists used wide-angle X-ray scattering to look deeper into the fibers. Their results were explosive. The linen didn't match the Middle Ages, it matched the first century. What makes the shroud truly haunting is its negative quality. While the naked eye sees only a blur, inverting the colors reveals a sharp, three-dimensional face with a full beard and visible wounds. It isn't a painting, it contains distance information acting like a biological blueprint of a human body. But because the image is still too faded for human eyes to perfectly rebuild, researchers turn to the only tool capable of seeing through the static of 2,000 years, artificial intelligence. When AI looked into history. In August 2024, researchers fed high-resolution shroud scans into generative AI like Midjourney. This wasn't a generic guess. They used forensic prompts detailing first-century Middle Eastern anatomy and the shroud's specific wound patterns. The machine cross-referenced the linen's unique, negative image with millions of data points to build a hyper-realistic human form. The result was breathtaking. A face emerged with deep, soulful eyes, a weathered nose, and visible bruising from torture. Unlike flat historical paintings, this image had incredible depth, showing skin pores and moisture in the eyes. It felt like a window through time, a haunting blend of raw human suffering and eerie calm. However, as the image went viral, skeptics warned that AI isn't a time machine. It's a pattern-matching engine trained on existing art. When asked to see Jesus, the software was likely remembering every Renaissance masterpiece it had ever processed. This left the world with a chilling question. Was this a historical revelation or just a sophisticated digital average of every Jesus painting in history? The mirror versus the window. The viral image created an ethical crisis theologians call digital idolatry. Because the AI image looks photographic, our brains treat it as factual. But the person crafting the prompt made hundreds of tiny choices: skin tone, eye color, lighting. If they wanted a Western model, the AI would comply. Some ethicists noted the AI Jesus was too handsome by modern standards. reflecting 21st century preferences for symmetry and clean features. If the suffering servant prophecy was accurate, the real Jesus might have been far more rugged and less Instagram ready. The danger is that these polished images overwrite messy historical reality. The AI acts as a mirror, showing us what we want Jesus to have looked like in 2025, our own biases about holiness and beauty. Yet the impact is undeniable. For many, this face made the historical figure feel real for the first time. It pulled him from stained glass windows into flesh and blood reality. A human who felt pain, heat, and exhaustion. Whether accurate or not, it reignited global conversation about who this man was and why we remain obsessed 2,000 years later. What it all means. We've traveled from silent biblical pages to cutting-edge AI pixels, yet the final answer remains just out of reach. Perhaps that's intentional. This mystery allows every culture and every individual to find a version of the story that speaks to them personally. These AI reconstructions didn't end the debate, they transformed it. They prove that technology and faith aren't always at odds. Sometimes they work together to illuminate history's darkest corners. Whether the shroud is a miracle or a medieval masterpiece, and whether AI is a window or a mirror, our fascination remains. We are a species that needs to see to believe, and we will keep turning our machines toward the past, hoping for one more glimpse of the truth. The face of Jesus may remain a mystery for another 2,000 years, but this journey has revealed more about our history and our technological power than we ever expected. The shock of 2024 wasn't just about a computer image. It was the realization that the past is never truly gone. It's just waiting for the right tool to bring it back to life. If you found this deep dive into ancient relics and modern technology fascinating, subscribe to the channel. There are countless more secrets hidden in the folds of history, and we're dedicated to bringing them to light. Thanks for watching Mysteries Uncovered Files, and we'll see you in the next investigation.